It takes a lot more work than people realize to maintain a Major League Baseball field. Try multiplying that by 7. We're out here at Camelback Ranch today. This is the LA Dodgers Spring Training Complex. We're spending a day with the grounds crew just to see what it's like in a normal day of spring training for them. They have 7 fields to be taken care of, and they share a complex with the White Sox, who has even more fields over there. But we're spending a day with the Dodgers crew just to see what it's like in a day in their life, because they have a lot of fields to take care of. There's a lot of players out here, minor league and major league, so they have many different people that are using all these fields every single day for many different purposes, from practice, games, warm-ups, workouts, anything you could possibly think of. And we're in Arizona, so it gets hot. So it's going to be touching 100 this next week. It's in the 90s today. So let's go around, see what it's like in a day in the life of the spring training crew over here at the Dodgers. So we started the day with a morning brief, just talking about who needs to go where, what needs to get done, and which fields are going to be used for what purposes that day. After that, everybody walks over to the carts, hops in theirs, and drives over to the field that they're starting their day at. Then they get to work. Now, I got to talk to some of the guys about what it's like working over there and what goes into the day-to-day operations of working at the spring training complex. So let's hear some of that. I mean, I think you're at one of the most versatile spots that you could probably be at, with 7 different fields, some different types of grass, some you overseed, some you don't. And you have to make them not only look nice, obviously the fields look nice when you look at them. That's a big part, but what would you say is like one of the most important parts? Is it player safety? Is it playability? Is it durability of the fields? All the above? What is it?
The big thing for me, man, and it's awesome that you said that, it's player safety. Honestly, some of the things that we do, looks don't necessarily come into play. I mean, I know that we want it to look the best that we can and play as best we can, but safety is our biggest concern. Down to the little things of making sure that the warning tracks are clear and, nothing's, in the way. But that's our biggest job, is player safety, and anything that we can do down to the littlest things to make sure that they're safe when they play the game is our top priority.
Yeah.
And then going from there, you know what I mean, we try to make it look the best that we can and play the best that we can.
One of the first things that you do once you get onto the field, the day before any of the players or anything get out of there, I saw you guys over at the nail drag, watering a little bit. Like, just run me through that process a little bit.
Yeah, so for me, when I came here starting out, they really emphasized a nail drag, and like watching other videos of complexes and just talking to other people, there's not a big knowledge of nail drag, which I've still learned a lot, and I'm learning every day of it. Every day we'll come in and nail drag, and nail drag's purpose is really just to open up the skin and let it breathe and bake out a little bit. When you put water on it, it's able to it's like a sponge. That skin will soak up that water and hold that moisture in to not get dried out and be able to play.
So we've got some good info so far, just about the process and the priorities of what they have going on day to day. And if there's one thing that I want you to take away from this, is that they have so much more work to do than you actually think. So there's still a lot we haven't got to yet, so let's just get back to it now. Take me through some of like your processes getting a field ready for a practice or a game, whatever it may be.
So, on a normal day, we're kind of jumping in between fields. We have our partial field that you guys talked about and our field 4. Those are usually used for early work, so we'll kind of start on those. We typically leaf blow almost every morning, so we'll get all the leaves off the field and then jump right into having practice ready for those 2 early work fields. And then rolling into defenses, we'll have multiple groups of defense on the other fields, and so going into making sure that the surface area is flat and safe for the next group. So, if we have 3 groups, we'll have to go in and rake them out in between each one. And it's kind of a hustle game for that. And then after that, getting game ready, it's a kind of a quick flip. We go in and if we have multiple games going on different fields, we'll kind of each have our roles that we'll go into. We'll tear down whatever, batting practice or infield defense or whatever we had set up prior. and then we'll kind of have all of our different roles. Laying out the boxes, laying out the lines, dragging, watering with Connor, doing any of those things. It's kind of one of those things that it kind of switches every day, or we'll kind of get into grooves where one guy will do the same thing, or it's one thing that I really do truly appreciate about being out here on the spring training facility is that one guy's not doing the same thing every single time, and you get that opportunity to learn.
So we've got to learn a little bit about what these guys do, and there's still so much more that we haven't covered yet, but we have got to get a little taste of what it's like to be in the Dodgers spring training grounds crew. I mean, they have 7 fields, they have all these different bullpens with multiple mounds on them, and there's still so much more that they have to cover as well, the clubhouse area and everything. But right now we're at one of the mounds. This one's called a 6-pack because it has 6 mounds on it, 6 pitching rubbers, 6 home plates, and then they have this nice logo that they put down. I think that was a great touch, back-to-back champs for them. So these guys get rings. That's awesome. Now we're over at another bullpen. I think that's another 6-pack right there. We had guys working out over there as we were working on it. So what they're doing right now is they're prepping it for the day. These bullpens are being prepped. They were worked on the day before. At the very end of the day, once people were done using them, no more pitchers were on them, they break those down. But the prep is really probably one of their easier parts of the day. They really just got to pull the tarp off and then put the drag down, water it, make sure it has enough moisture, and make that thing look nice, and it looks absolutely beautiful. I can't stress how important the mounds are in the bullpens. But now we're over at one of the fields working on the infield mow, and this is one of the more satisfying parts of it. And if you've ever wondered how the actual line striping works on a baseball field, it's really just the way that the grass blades are leaning after they get mowed. So this walk mower that you have on here, this is really the only kind of mower that you want to use on an infield. But this walk mower that you have here, that's what's pushing the grass blades. So if you go on the opposite side of these lines, the light and the dark are going to switch because you're going to look at the opposite end of the grass blades. But infield looks absolutely amazing, so I was glad to be able to see that. And now we move on over to the game field. So this game field, there's one game that day. I think most of these other days there are multiple games, but they had a minor league game that day, and this is the prep that they have to do for these games. Now everybody's grabbing equipment. What you saw at the beginning was somebody was raking the outside edge of the infield skin just to make sure it was all clean. And now starting with home plate. So grab the drag, go around home plate, make sure everything's smoothed out and even, so we can grab the batter's box stencil, put that thing down. You see it has that home plate outline, which I think is just perfect for this. And they just mark it that way. Once it's time to actually paint the batter's boxes, they know exactly where to go. There's no guessing. There's no measuring out. It's just use the stencil. And once you're done marking that out, flip it around to the other side, and pretty much that's the whole process with marking out where the batter's boxes go. And there's still a little more that goes on into it. You got to get that catcher umpire area in the back too. But now it's time to put that string down. Once they put that string down, then start watering it. And the moisture on the infield skin and it's just so important. You can't have it too dry, you can't have it too wet, but you really got to make sure that it's looking good. And the timing on when you do it is very important, especially with the sun out and everything. But these guys know exactly what they're doing. So pretty soon we're going to get to hear from Dylan about what it's like painting these batter's boxes and everything else. So there has been some controversy about the Dodgers batter's boxes, so I can't wait to hear his take on it. But I think this is something that is one of the most, I think everything's satisfying, honestly, but I think I'm going to say that a lot. This is one of the most satisfying things I got to see from the day and really what I'm doing right now.
I saw you getting the lines ready. A lot of the other guys doing different parts of the field. Tell me about the batter's boxes.
It's funny. So the Dodgers specifically, they do a thinner line batter's box, which came from Ron Kent a couple of years back. He said the thick lines is a distraction towards him when he's in the batter's box. So we did the batter's box. We do batter's box just the same as Dodger Stadium. It's pretty easy. We have a template, matches up with home plate, and then we kind of just stencil it out, trace that outline with our paint, and doing baselines, same thing. You line it up with the foul line and just go. You just cruise with it.
And cruise with it is exactly what it looks like he was doing. I mean, it looks like these guys have done this so many times, and they absolutely have. You can tell. The quality of this field just looks unmatched. I mean, getting a big league field ready is incredibly satisfying. It's something that is just a work of art. I mean, if you've seen plenty of baseball fields like I have, you know that there's nothing better than seeing one that's just up to standard, just like this one. I think this is one of the most amazing things in sports, is seeing a high quality field of any sport really, but in baseball specifically, be put together, because there's many different surfaces, from the pitcher's mound to home plate to the infield skin to the warning track, infield grass to outfield grass, and the skirt around it too. So there's so much that goes into baseball, and there's so many guys that have this down to a science. It's absolutely just incredible. So this is really what it's like to put a big league field together. And the mound's so important. Everybody knows that there's just so much that can go wrong with this, truly. And I think these guys are just absolutely incredible. I know they're not the only ones that are able to do it to this standard, but I mean, look at that field. I would love to play on something like this. This is just as good as it really gets. So congrats to the way that these guys work. And now let's start getting to some fun stuff. Now we're going to get to a conversation just here in a minute, watching some guys throw off the bullpen. And I even threw a couple. These were truly my only 2 throws, but my arm was falling off after that.
What is something, could be one thing, could be multiple things, but what's something that people don't really understand about this type of work that you wish they would? What's some misconceptions?
I mean, I even say it to myself, and like when we have new guys come in, yes, it is a big field and there's a lot of things to do, but when you get, to me, I think when you get into the field more and you've been around it for years, you start realizing the little things. Mm-hmm. And I think the little things is, to me, I think it's the biggest part, and like perfection-wise. But like, we realize we have expectations and we have a standard, and we get that, but perfecting your little things, I think that's what puts us at the top of our fields.
If something's being said about the fields, chances are something was wrong.
Yeah.
So there's not a whole lot of praise in this industry, and a lot of people think like, you cut the grass. We do, obviously. You guys are out there cutting the grass, but even from the different types of mowers you use on the infield compared to the mower you use on the outfield, the way you mow one day compared to the way you mow another day, it's all completely different. It's down to a science. I mean, what's something that you think people don't understand about this industry or this type of work that you're in that you would like them to know a little more about, or even that you would like to learn more about?
Something that, I'll give a huge amount of credit to our leaders, Glen, Connor, and Artie. They are constantly thinking weeks or months ahead of where we actually are in time.
Now it's time to fix up the bullpens after they've been used. So this one has 7 mounds, so I guess I'd make it a 7-pack, but we talked about this a little bit earlier. The bullpen mounds are some of the most important parts of everything, really, just because there are so many pitchers. They do their drills on this, and they're here pretty much more than they're on the game mound, really. These are important. You want them to replicate the game mound, but you want them to be quality, and they get used a lot more. So, and there's 7 of them just right here, and then we've already visited 2 other bullpens. There's a lot, but they're very meticulous in what they do, and they know exactly how they do it because they do it every single day. Now, pretty much what they had to do was they put all the conditioner off to the side. That's what you saw with the broom, and then they rake it up on pretty much where the feet go. So that's where the pitcher's foot is, right up against the rubber, and then the landing spot was down at the bottom. So they used a little rake to scratch that up. They place the clay down in here and flatten it out. Make sure it's even, grab the tamp, and then start putting it down. So that whole strip right there is clay, and this is something that they're pretty much going to have to be doing every single time that these mounds get used, and every single mound in general. And so after they do that, they even out the conditioner back on. They're actually going to be losing some of the conditioner, which you may or may not see, but they're evening it out. Cover the rubber, that's fine. They know exactly where it is anyway. You just want to make sure in this part of the process that everything is evenly distributed. Nothing is too clumpy in a way. So you see that little pile that they have, they ended up scooping that up. I just didn't get that on video. But Once they get done with that, they start putting piles of the conditioner down, spread it out evenly to get those spots that just lost a little bit, and pretty much just fixing up the mound back to where they need to be. So once this part gets done, it'll get water on it just so it's not sitting dry, because like we talked about earlier, the moisture is important, very important. So they get the water on it. Once that's all done, then it'll be time to grab the tarp and place it back, and that's how the mounds are done. So if you play baseball, you've pitched on a horrible mound, these are going to be the best that you've ever thrown on if you ever had the chance to throw on these. So don't take pitching mounds for granted if you're still playing baseball, because these are top quality. Now cover it, that way everything's all good, and then they'll repeat the process that we saw earlier when they're done with it. And yeah, that's it for the pitcher's mounds. Now we're back at one of the fields. So the thing about this field, we're talking, and I was asking him exactly like what the reason for him doing this is, and pretty much the edges are beat up on this field, but this field hasn't had a break in days or maybe weeks, I think, at this point. So what he's doing is he's getting the hose and just making it high pressure just to blow off all the material that's on the edge of the grass, because pretty much it's just suffocating the grass. That stuff can't grow. That's why it looks like it's so dead. It's not. It's just there's too much of it in there. So rather than grab a blower, that wouldn't work. You have to use this high pressure water and just dig into it, really. So that's what this is. It might not look like something you should be doing, or it might look weird or whatever, but trust me, this is absolutely helping the edges of the grass, and it's something that's very necessary and that they just really don't have much of time to do. But we got all that done. I got to go to the game, Dodgers versus Rangers, my first spring training game ever.
They've really helped me gain some confidence in myself. That's something that is huge out here, is that you can't be perfect every time, and if you expect that, you're never going to want to try. So
fair enough.
Yeah,
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, so being okay with that and learning, we're not building watches out here, so not everything's got to be exactly to the T, but we do our very best every time.
I think you guys do a great job, and there's a lot of work. You haven't had a day off in how long? Over
30,
a month?
30 some days, something like that.
This was such an amazing experience for me to just be there for a day with these guys and see what it's like. This was one of their lighter days, so there's so much more that goes into it than people realize, and it's nobody's fault. It's just you don't see the work. You go there and you expect a beautiful field at that level, obviously. These guys got to do it 7 times, and they got to do it year-round. It's not just during spring training, but, I mean, everybody in this industry, they have a lot more work than people think, and the standards are set so high because people are so good at their jobs, but it's not easy. There's just people out there like the crew you saw over there, Glen and everybody else over at the Dodgers Camelback Ranch crew was absolutely fantastic. Thank you to Franco and Dylan. Dylan runs Dodgers Ranch on Instagram and TikTok, so please check it out. They post awesome content. It's pretty much just the work that they do over there. You'll just get to see it from his perspective and the rest of the crew over there. So please follow that on Instagram and TikTok. But everything else, like, I don't know. I love it. I hope people can start to realize, like, there's so much more work that goes on in this industry than you might see or you might hear about. And yeah, it's something that I love going and seeing the different processes. There's a million ways to do pretty much everything that you saw today. So I don't know. I'm starting to ramble. I'll let you guys go, but I appreciate you watching. If you watched this far, keep watching the next videos. I have so much more to come. There's many others. If you have requests for where you want me to go or what kind of work you want to see, just comment or send me a DM. I'd say just comment on this video and I'll check it. I just want to see what's going on. Like, what do you guys want to know? Because I want to teach people about this industry and just show what's really happening, because these fields are fantastic, but there's so much work that goes into it. I can't stress that enough, and I'm probably annoying you guys with it, but if you haven't turned this off by now, thank you. I appreciate you. Follow j.sprays, subscribe, and comment, like, whatever. I don't know, but that's it. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon.